What's up, travelers? It's Eliz from Meets Travel, and on this snowy day in Chicago, I'm going to review the pros and cons for bringing a smartphone or a camera on your next vacation to take your all-important vacation photos. This question was submitted to me this week on one of my Instagram comments, and I thought it would make an awesome topic to talk about via video. But before we dive in, I'm going to be creating a lot more videos on this channel in the coming weeks, and it would be awesome to hang out more, so if you haven't already, please feel free to press that red subscribe button down below so you don't miss a video. Okay, now that that's said, today in this video I'm going to review, again, the pros and cons for smartphone versus camera. Then I'm going to be talking about why I exclusively have been shooting my photography and videos on my iPhone only on all of my trips over the past year. Then I'm going to end with my thoughts about what to consider when choosing between bringing your smartphone or your camera on your next vacation. So let's dive into it. First, I'll go over the pros and cons, starting with the camera. There are several pros for bringing a camera with you on vacation. First is that the camera takes the best quality photos, seriously, and those photos can be both enlarged and edited very easily. Also, the zoom capabilities are a lot better than on a smartphone, especially if you bring multiple lenses. Next, if you're planning on taking photos in crowded spaces or at sports games or at, let's say, a bullfight or anywhere else where there's an action scene, having a faster shutter speed on a camera in comparison to a smartphone is going to be essential in order to capture that action shot in the best way possible without getting a blurry image. Lastly, autofocus is much better on a camera than on a smartphone. And I've learned that firsthand from shooting video on my iPhone while I've been traveling, and when trying to focus on a specific thing that I'm talking about, it just really still has a lot of blurriness to it that a camera just wouldn't have if you brought one with you. There are cons, though, for bringing a camera on your trip. First and foremost, it's very heavy and bulky, so carrying that around with you and putting it in your bag, especially if you're trying to pack light or pack and carry-on only, is going to be a challenge. Also, there's going to be a lot of gear that you most likely will want to bring with you if you're bringing a camera. For example, my husband travels with his camera all the time. He has an entire bag devoted to the camera that includes things like spare batteries, SD cards, 2 tripods sometimes, extra lenses, etc. There's just a lot of things that you're going to want to bring with you in order to optimize your photography if you're bringing a camera. Another con to having a camera is that the audio quality, if you're trying to shoot video with your camera, is not going to be very great, especially in windy situations. Mirrorless and DSLR cameras just really don't have great built-in microphones for when you're out and about and filming. Another con is that cameras are expensive. You might spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on your camera and other equipment. And the last con that I want to mention about bringing a camera with you on your vacation is that you won't be able to share your photos and video as instantaneously on a camera as you would be able to if you were using your smartphone. Now, moving over into smartphones. In my opinion, the most important pro is that you most likely already have one. So it's no additional investment in your vacation in order to bring it with you. Also, a smartphone is pocket-sized, so you can put it in your pocket or your purse and bring it everywhere with you throughout the day. Additionally, smartphones often shoot in 4K video, at least the latest models. And so if you're filming video, you're going to have very high quality video that you may or may not be able to access with certain cameras. A smartphone also allows you to share your photos and video to social media very quickly. And the last pro that I want to talk about is that most smartphones these days have a front camera and a back camera, so you can toggle back and forth between taking a photo and taking a selfie very easily in a way that you can't with a normal camera. Now, it's important to also go over the cons of bringing your smartphone only. First and foremost is that the image quality is just not nearly as good with a smartphone as it would be with a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. Additionally, the autofocus, especially when filming video on smartphones, is just not as good, and so you're not going to be able to focus and have as crisp of images. Lastly, a smartphone doesn't have as good of zoom capabilities, so if you're in a scenario where you're going to need a good zoom, such as landscape photography, or you're at a zoo or at a beach or something like that, you're just not going to have as good of a tool. Now that we've gone over the pros and cons to both, I specifically chose to only shoot photography and videos with my smartphone over the past year because of you guys. I wanted to be able to show my audience, aka you, that you do not need to spend additional money on camera equipment in order to have an amazing trip. The photos and video that I've been able to take with my iPhone while traveling have been great, and I don't want anybody to think that they need to have a really nice camera in order to capture memories and have amazing vacation photos. So if you're debating about whether to buy a camera for your upcoming trip, I think it's important to look critically at how that camera will be used. First and foremost, what is your budget for that camera, and would that budget be better spent on the experiences on the trip than on the camera and equipment? Also, how much walking around do you plan on doing on your trip, and will bringing a bulky camera or a heavy camera be a burden to you that you don't want to take on? Another important thing is to know whether or not you know how to use the functions on the camera that you're considering, and if not, if you have enough time before your trip to learn. You don't want to show up at a destination gung-ho to use a camera and then realize that you don't actually know how to make it work. Lastly, I think it's important to really think through whether or not you're going to be upset if you cannot share or post your photos or video instantaneously on your trip. That is a huge difference between whether you should bring a DSLR or mirrorless camera or a smartphone. Overall, I'd say it's just important to know what kind of traveler you are and what will bring you personally the most joy on your vacation. I hope this video is helpful for you all travelers, and if so, please feel free to give it a like by pressing the thumbs up below, and also don't forget to subscribe by pressing the red subscribe button so you never miss a video from me in the future. Cheers everybody! Happy travels! Bye! Hey travelers, don't forget to subscribe and press that notification bell so you don't miss when I put out new and awesome travel videos.